If you've been around the VTuber sphere for a while, you've probably seen a VTuber debut. Typically, VTuber debuts out of agencies are large-scale spectacle events that are hyped up through trailers and advertisements. Debuts typically have a brand new VTuber revealing their model, overlays, and branding for the first time. Oftentimes, the main attraction of a debut is a PowerPoint where the VTuber goes over their bio, likes, dislikes, and goals to let the audience get to know them better. Sometimes the VTuber will go the extra mile and include a cover song, new original song, or fully animated lore videos to captivate their new audience. Hey a Bat Bunch, my name is Yam Albat. While I'm still on hiatus preparing for my next live 2D model, I figured I would make a very quick, low-effort video on a question I get asked by aspiring indie VTubers very frequently. And that question is, how do I debut as a VTuber? And my honest response is, don't debut. A traditional VTuber debut is useless to most creators and only really makes sense for corporate VTubers who have years of experience under their belt. So today we are going to go over 3 reasons why VTuber debuts are absolutely unnecessary and what you should do instead. Reason 1. Slow growth is better than fast growth. Going instantly viral is the dream of many content creators. But let me be real. You probably don't want to blow up before you had experience as a content creator. In order to capitalize on virality, you would need to know what you're doing already. And most creators don't figure that out until they've had years of experience with all the tech involved, audience management, and curating a brand for themselves. It's no secret that Hololive, Nijisanji, Idol, and VShojo creators aren't new to content creating at all. Many of them have been streaming for years before they host their corporate VTuber debut. They also have an entire team equipping them to make sure their debut is as polished as possible. If I can be blunt for a second, if you're new to content creation, you're going to be bad at first. After all, you kinda have to suck at something before you can be good at it. Therefore, you can expect your first videos or streams to also suck.
Apparently, I suck at being nonviolent.
Dude, sucking at something is the first step towards being sorta good at something.
With that in mind, I want to ask you, do you want your audience hyped for a stream that is inevitably going to be one of your worst? For this reason, delayed slow growth is much healthier than instantly blowing up on your very first debut stream. Corporate VTuber debuts are designed to build hype and get as many people to watch them as possible. As such, debut culture makes you think that you need to have everything together before you start streaming, and that just isn't the case. What's more, the inevitable dip in numbers that every VTuber experiences after their debut can be very discouraging for a new content creator. There's a huge tangent I could go on about why slow growth is much better for your mental health, but I'll boil it down to just this. Building a community over time and learning to manage it as you go is much less overwhelming than having thousands of eyes on you all at once while you're still figuring out the basics. Reason 2. Immediately investing in your setup is a bad idea. Don't invest in a model yet. Please! I know you want to be all unique and pretty, and I know you want to look like Iron Mouse or Shy Lily or Hololive immediately, but it is a bad idea. For one, character concepts don't always stick, and you will want to change and improve things later. I myself have gone by 3 different names, Lorelei Alto, Yam Komori, and now Yam Albat. I've gone through 2 different characters entirely, and only after I've been a content creator for 3 years am I finally paying a rigor to actually give me full movement. That's how long it took me to finally commit to a character concept I know suits me and my content vision. Speaking of content, as a beginning content creator, you really don't know what you want. Trust me. You might think you have a good idea of what niche you want to occupy, but you won't know that for sure until you have experience in that niche. When I started making content, I was convinced I wanted to be a variety streamer and musician just like Hololive and join a VTuber agency someday. I had no idea that I would end up becoming a video essayist on YouTube and talking about character design. And honestly, some point down the line, you may realize that content creation just isn't for you. I learned over time time that I actually hate the content creation grind, and the only way for me to have fun while making content is to keep it a hobby. I thought I wanted to be a full-time VTuber, but I found out that's just not the case. And the only way to figure that out is through experience. So what's a new content creator to do? Start as low cost as possible. Start with commissioning or drawing a still image of your avatar's design. Or have a few frames of animation set up in VTuber Mini and become a PNG tuber. Or you can download VRoid and use assets from Booth to customize your own 3D avatar for free. You can also find full pre-made live 2D and 3D models on Booth for free or just a few bucks. This goes for anything else hardware like an expensive PC or a microphone too. Start with the lowest cost setup and only upgrade over time if you end up sticking with your channel. In fact, I'm sure you've noticed at this point that I've been using a reactive PNG of my model this entire time. I've decided to be a PNG tuber for a day to prove that you don't need a fancy model to get eyes on your content. You just need experience and the ability to make content worth watching. Reason 3. Traditional debuts are boring. Okay, I know this one sounds a bit harsh, but hear me out. Unless it's something big like a Hololive debut, I honestly just don't watch VTuber debuts. I actually find streams and videos where the creator is relaxed and doing things they enjoy to be much more interesting than a PowerPoint about their likes and dislikes. I get to know a creator a lot better through regular streams or videos than through a debut. Debuts are high stakes and high pressure streams, and anything that can go wrong often will. The VTuber is usually nervous and flustered and trying so hard to cling on to their character kayfabe. It's common knowledge among VTuber fans that you won't actually know if you'll enjoy watching a VTuber until they've calmed down after debut and settled into being themselves anyways. I believe that all the famous aspects of a debut, like character bio, lore, likes and dislikes, and goals, would be better served on a personal website or wiki page rather than a stream. This is probably a good time to shout out VTuber, a VTuber wiki page that any indie VTuber can set up for themselves. My point is, unless you're going to incorporate your character bio, lore, likes, dislikes, and goals into your regular content, it doesn't make sense to focus on it for your very first stream or video. I know a lot of talented VTubers can actually incorporate lore into their videos and streams, but that isn't the focus for everyone. Listing your favorite anime only makes sense if you're going to make anime-related content. Singing in Japanese only makes sense if you're going to make Japanese content. Same for video games. This is coming from a VTuber who actually debuted back in the day. And oh boy, my debut was awkward as heck. The chat is scuffed. Was not worth the months I spent trying to make it perfect. Because guess what? I literally don't use anything from my debut. I don't use the same overlays, the same model, I don't even make the same genre of content anymore. I look back on my debut and honestly consider it a big waste of my time. So please learn from my mistakes. Don't stress yourself over a grandiose VTuber debut as a new content creator. You don't have to be perfect at the beginning. It's okay to make bad content. That's the only way you are going to learn. To recap, you shouldn't host a traditional debut as a VTuber if you are new to content creating because 1. Slow growth will benefit you better in the long run so that you have time to learn along the way. Secondly, investing in your setup is a bad idea unless you have an idea of what you're doing already. And finally, traditional VTuber debuts are often boring and don't fit everyone's content style. So if you are dead set on having a debut even after watching this, here's my advice. Step 1. Learn OBS and practice streaming ahead of time. Step 2, find a low-cost model. And Step 3, tailor that debut to the niche of content you want to settle into. But instead of debuting, I highly recommend you start with low-pressure content as soon as possible. Make your social media accounts and find a low-cost or free avatar that represents you. It could literally be anything, even a PNG of a chicken nugget. Take your time learning the ins and outs of OBS through actually using it to make practice content and experiment with all different kinds of ideas and genres of content. And remember, just have fun for now. Hone your craft over time. No need for spending thousands or waiting months before the stars of a debut align. The reason agency VTubers have these high budget debuts is because they are locked in. Agency VTubers have signed a contract promising to produce a specific type of content at a specific rate for their full-time job. They can't change their VTuber. They can't decide to change genres of content either. Right now, you have much more flexibility compared to an agency VTuber. You can literally decide tomorrow that you want to go a totally different direction. You can just decide to make content once a month like me. You have the freedom to view your VTuber journey as something that's just for fun. You don't have the weight of the business side that agency VTubers have. View it as a blessing that you don't have everything figured out just yet. The canvas is blank, and no one can tell you what to paint or how to paint it. So instead of doing a big debut, save the big celebrations for anniversaries, birthdays, and milestones once you've found your footing as a creator. So tell me, Bat Bunch, how do you feel about VTuber debuts? Let me know if you want more mini video essays like these by telling me in the comments down below or liking the video. Subscribe if you want to stick around for more essays on character design and VTuber culture. And as always, take care, Bat Bunch.